In this video, I'd like to show how I use dev containers. That's a feature of VS Code where you can develop inside a Docker container. I'm going to show this with my Dino SSB experiments, with an implementation of the scuttlebutt protocol in Dino. So I'm going to open this project, just normally open the folder with the working copy, and now it tells me that I can reopen this in container because it detects that it has the dev container configuration. Now when I reopen it in container, it starts normally one container. In this case, because I'm using Docker Compose, it's starting several containers so that I have some peers to interact with and test my code. So I have two instances of SSB Dino, that's the code I'm editing here, and two instances of Oasis. All these containers have their .ssb configuration folder as mounts of these host folders we see here. So there should be, or there are some files in it. Oasis created them on start. There is not a lot of data, so the folders are almost empty. And SSB Dino has no configuration because we haven't started it yet. SSB Dino B has the secret with the secret key and the public key. This was started. SSB Dino A was not started because that's the one we're working in it. So we don't start it automatically from the Docker Compose, but we start it manually here in debug modus when we need it. But before starting it, I would like to set up some connections. So here in Oasis, here in SSB Dino A, we add a peer. I take the file from the example comp, or actually I take both those files. I copy them in here, and now I change them. I want to follow Oasis A, so I look in Oasis A config file for its public key, which I find here. And add this to the list of followees of my instance. This didn't work. Copy, paste. Okay. Then we also, so this is the feed it will try to get from any peer it connects, but we obviously get it best when we connect to the right host. So we add this here as peer. We want to connect to the host Oasis A. So just to confirm that this is running, Oasis A, we can ping it here. And then port is 8008. What is the syntax again? Okay, tilde SHS : and then the public key, but this time without the at and without the suffix. So that should be the address of the peer we want to connect to. Now start our client, our instance. It's P2P, so it's client and server in one. And we have an unexpected token. Maybe that's this missing quote. Okay, that's looking better. It started the host, which means starting 2 agents for the sub protocol, the lots agent and the feeds agent, which seems to be a bit less verbose or not getting a startup message. But it tells that we are connecting to this host. And we are updating this feed, but obviously we are not yet getting any data because there is no. Now let's create some data. Our Oasis instance can be reached over port 3001. Let's do that. 3000 is my local Oasis instance. Okay, here we have the instance. We can publish a post, preview, and publish. Now the stream just ended, so the RPC keeps the connection open for a while, but if there is no activity, it will eventually close them. So it did create the folder for the feed. Every feed is one folder where the individual posts are files in it. But so far it hasn't updated. Well, now something happened, and now we have this one JSON, which is the first post of this user. Let's like our own post, why not? And this should create a second message, which will show up here eventually. And change the profile. Give it a name. So this should have been a third message. It's not here yet. Now we have both. Okay, so that's my development environment, and this instance here is running in the debugger, so I can add breakpoints, say when the feed is updated. Here we here we send the create history stream request to the peer, and we should get an async iterable back currently. This is more this stream-like API. Can put a breakpoint here and with one more post. It should eventually hit this breakpoint. In between, I can show if I want to go into one of the other containers, I can do this right out of VS Code. I click here and choose attach to running container, and then I can connect with any of the 4 containers started by this Docker Compose. For example, the other, here the other Dino instance. But now we are at the breakpoint, and we can step, we can see how it verifies the signatures, and etc., and eventually creates the latest file with the post. Now still at the breakpoint. Now we have file number 4, which is one more post. Okay, that's it, just to give you an idea how this works with this development container and how I use them to develop scuttlebutt implementations. Thanks for watching.